Sorry, I'm gonna have to. James, have you just done it? Okay, great, thanks. Okay. Okay, so I'll start from this slide here. So thanks so much, Anna, for that. So just give a quick background on EDINA. So EDINA at the University of Edinburgh is a renowned, trusted online service provider with over 20 years experience delivering online services at scale. We deliver a portfolio of online educational technology services to over 5,000 customers. We're set up for best practice ITIL service delivery, and we have regulatory best practice and GDPR and digital accessibility. We have a help desk, which is available 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and we have a 99.9% service uptime and a team of software developers and service delivery staff to support all our services in the background. So what is Noteable? So Noteable is a managed cloud-based computational notebook service developed by EDINA here at the University of Edinburgh. It was designed with input from learning technologists and lecturers to support the teaching of coding. So before Noteable existed at Edinburgh University, lecturers were trying to provide a coding provision to their courses and modules, and they were running into a number of issues, challenges and problems, mostly around the setup of that coding environment with students. Typically, you'd have a module, say mathematics, starting in September, and the lecturer would often spend the first couple of weeks dedicated to helping students get set up with a coding environment on their individual machines. This would lead to that 2-week delay before any teaching could start, and often just led to a bit of frustration with students and lecturers. So that's where Noteable was kind of created from, to solve some of those setup issues and make the learning process a lot smoother. It provides access to several different computational notebooks, and it really is designed to give that consistent coding environment for all users. So in terms of the features and what you get with Noteable, it's broken down to 7 notebook types. Those are Python, R with Dan, RStudio, Sage Math, Geospatial, Chemistry, and Machine Learning. It comes with pre-installed, managed and maintained libraries within each notebook. So all the libraries and packages are all situated in one place, which again makes it much easier for both lecturer and student to access those when they need them, rather than having to go off and find them. It's fully VLE integrated, so that makes the access of the service much smoother. The student would just need to go to their course page within VLE and click a link, and they're into Noteable like that. There are a number of features to assist with teaching, including collaborative coding. So if you're setting up group assignments, then that's all kind of taken care of, and you have that Google Docs style of kind of coding, and different people in different locations can work on the same assignment. Multiple markers, so you can share the load of marking responsibility. Assignment setting, auto grading, and automatic assignment distribution. Each user gets 10 GB of permanent storage and 4 GB of RAM, and there's the easy single-click cloning of Git repository to share external datasets. As well as the service, we also have a support team behind Noteable who are on hand to help universities make the most out of the service and deal with any questions that may come up. And there are updates between semesters with the latest libraries and requests. We have our help desk on hand, and we also have an ongoing service roadmap with dedicated teams, so we kind of interact with our customers on a regular basis to make sure that if there are any things that they would like the service to do that it currently doesn't do, then we can kind of talk about that and iterate it into the service that best address the needs of the institutions who use it. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the new site-wide license option, which is something we've introduced as of the end of 2022. And so up until that point, we just had a kind of per user pricing set up for Notable. And so what we wanted to do is create an offer for institutions who want to use Notable on a much wider basis and have much larger groups of users using the service. Um, and it's designed to be much more cost effective to do that if you want over 1,000 users using Notable within your institution. The pricing is calculated based upon the JISC bands, and it really offers significant savings for universities with larger user groups. And I put the link in here, so I'll distribute this to the group afterwards, so you can kind of look at that pricing breakdown. It's available on a 1 or 3 year subscription, and it's really designed to offer higher education institutions greater flexibility around where Notable can be used, because we've seen, certainly here at Edinburgh, a number of other of our customers, Notable can start in one department or location, and then quickly the word gets around that there's a efficient, kind of easy access hosted computational notebook service, and then all of a sudden different departments and different lecturers and courses want to use it. And the idea behind the site-wide license option was to really help with the scalability of the service, and help kind of move it from department to department without the sort of barriers of user numbers and that kind of thing. So it also comes with a 1 year free Stack service as well. So Stack is another service that we run from EDINA, and that is a hosted maths assessment service. So I've put the link in there to for people if they want to go and have a look at that one as well. So I've put in a slide about testimonials for some of the lecturers who've been using Notable over the past couple of years. I won't go through this in detail. You can read that at your own leisure. And I've got just the final slide just to say thanks so much for coming today. And if you have any questions, please do ask. And I've put some useful links in there to various helpful locations for you to find out more information. But I thought I might hand over to my colleague James, who might talk through a little bit more about the kind of workflow as a lecturer, and might bring to life in a little bit more detail the kind of workflow in terms of managing assignments and distributing assignments, and just helping the people on the webinar understand a little bit more about what that might look like. I don't know if there's, sorry, I've had a full screen, so I've not seen if there's been any questions so far, but yeah.
Thank you, Guy. We've had one question so far, which was about possible integration of Notable with Microsoft Teams. So I've replied to the chat about that, just clarifying that Notable uses the VLE integration to connect to virtual learning environments such as Moodle or Blackboard, and doesn't currently support apps like Teams. But thank you, Gizzy, for that question. If you have any other questions, please do add them to the chat, or just raise your hand, and we can answer them here as well. As you pointed to, Guy, so I'll go ahead and share my screen because I don't think you have my slides here, but hopefully I can share my screen without any issues here. I have to skip to the right slide here. Okay. Guy, just can I ask, would you like for me to add anything on this slide here about what users have currently been saying about the service before we go a little bit into that? Or do you think we've covered that?
I mean, I think we've covered it off. I mean, I think the 3 testimonials from different lecturers. Certainly, I think the last testimonial there raised an important point around the novice coders, and I think that's an important point around Notable, in the sense that when students come into university and they're being asked to do some kind of coding, or that their course that they're studying is, coding is very much a kind of ancillary part of their course. That's where I think Notable really brings a lot of value, because it helps those that are maybe not so familiar with that whole world of piecing together various different bits of software to create a coding environment, and it really helps them get to move quickly to where they want to be in terms of a kind of data analytics and using Python and that sort of thing. So I think that's the only other thing I'd say about that.
Great, thanks, Guy. So I'll then go ahead and move over to the next slide over. I'll only be a few minutes, but I'll be going through how you access Notable and what it can provide in terms of coding environments and coding solutions for teachers across all levels, as well of teaching courses, as Guy was pointing to. We find that Notable can be used for novice coders, as well as experienced coders alike. And really where it starts with is where you choose the right environment for your class. So in this slide here, you'll see that the first step when first accessing Notable is to explore the coding environments available in Notable. And we have a website which describes the different notebook packages that we've put together and pre-configured so that you have access to the right libraries and packages. And as Guy was pointing to earlier, you can get started with your classes without having to spend too much time with setting things up. So once you've chosen the right coding environment for you available in Notable, you'll see that the right libraries and extensions will be available from inside this particular notebook server. So once you find Notable inside your virtual learning environment, as Guy mentioned with that integration that's available as part of Notable, you can then see a menu here where you get to choose your notebook server that's right for your class. And there's a listed description of each available notebook server on our website, so you can have a look at what libraries are pre-installed in each one. And once you've picked the one for you, you can start your classes in your chosen server, and this will launch you into a Jupyter notebook environment, both the classic environment that you might be familiar with or the newer Jupyter Lab environment, with that some functionality such as collaboration by sharing a link with other users. And you'll also have access to other coding environments such as RStudio. And so once you've accessed the appropriate coding environment for your classes with Notable, as Guy mentioned, there's some assignment features available for you, which are available through FormGrader. And FormGrader is going to be a dedicated section in Notable that you'll find once you log in. And you can, as an instructor, access FormGrader really to see all of the assignment activity that is taking place at your course level in Notable. So as part of the virtual learning environment integration, the instructor hub called FormGrader is the place where you're going to manage all of your assignments and distribute and collect those assignments between yourselves as instructors and with your students. So essentially, instructors can see both the FormGrader and assignments section in Notable, and through these sections, they can create, share, and collect notebook assignments with students. On the other side, students can see only assignments in Notable, and they can collect and submit notebooks for those assignments. So that means that instructors really have a special role on courses with Notable, so that they can use FormGrader to manage their assignments from grading and also scoring students' work. You can create a new assignment using a simple button, and then there is a grading icon reveal sequence that helps you edit, generate, release, and collect submissions. So it guides you through the process by showing you which icon you need to click at each time as you're moving through the development, release, and collection of assignments. And so at this point, I'll go back here to our final slide describing what Notable is, and see if we have any questions maybe, because we have a bit of time for some questions that you may have, and also to maybe go into any deeper aspects of the service that you'd like. So to start wrapping things up in terms of Notable and what it is, it's an online subscription service provided by EDINA at the University of Edinburgh that provides tools and support through a subscription for lecturers, students, and staff members at institutions to help provide classes with the right coding environments to work with code solutions and enable computational narratives. We've seen that computational narratives and working with data are increasingly needed skills in the workplace, and our aim here is to be able to provide the right environments for teachers and students to access and get working on those skills as soon as possible when after classes start. With Notable, resources can be readily created, shared, and reused regardless of skill level or knowledge by packaging many of the resources that we've gone through here together when going into Notable. We have a dedicated website, as I mentioned a little bit ago, and you can go there also to find information such as a description of all of the libraries and packages available in notebooks. So I'll pause there and just having a look at the chat. There is one question about integration.
Yeah, there's a question about so the question from Alistair Robert Wallace, can it be used with Canvas? And very much so. It can be used with Canvas. Where would I find out whether our institution, Union of Glasgow, already has an agreement? Right here, Rudolph, I can tell you that we don't currently have a formal agreement in place with the University of Glasgow. However, there are conversations going on there, and perhaps I could link you up with those people who we're having conversations with. Is it possible for an instructor to install Python or packages that are not pre-installed? James, I'll let you answer that.
Yep, thank you, Alistair. So just going back to that first question, Canvas is a platform that is supported by Notable and can establish that connection through LTI. And for your second question, it is possible to install Python and R packages that are not pre-installed. It's perfectly possible to add them through pip and through conda installs once you access the notebook environment in Notable. These will stay installed throughout your session of using Notable, and then once you log in again, you can reinstall them as needed. With that in mind, we also will be taking in requests for libraries and packages that you would like for us to install, and then in between semesters, when use is a bit quieter, we'll put those updates in to the libraries and packages in Notable so that they become readily available through sessions. So hopefully that answers your question, Alistair, but let me know if you have any other ones. Joy, going to your question of whether Notable can be integrated into Brightspace, yes, it can, using that LTI connection that establishes a safe and secure and easy connection really between Notable as a tool and Brightspace as a virtual learning environment. And actually some of our current users of Notable are using Brightspace. Great, Alistair.
I see that Fleur and Gizzy are just writing, but I just also wanted to say that if anyone would like a more dedicated session where we kind of maybe go into a bit more of a live demonstration of the service, I'm very happy to do that on a kind of on a one-on-one basis, but sort of on an institution by institution basis. So if you'd like to do that, then either let me know now or we can schedule that later. Okay, there's some more questions here.
I'll take the one from Gizzy Guy. Thank you. Yes, so it's how long do students retain access to the content they've created in Notable over their time at university and after graduation? So great question, Gizzy. We have a data retention policy in place, which is available on our website, and students and teachers alike will retain access to the content in Notable throughout their time at university, as long as they can access their virtual learning environment. Then the access to Notable will remain. After graduation, our data retention policy specifies the length of time that we hold personal data for in the service. It's a minimum of 5 years after the last access to the service by a user. So we think that that's a standard that gives us plenty of time for someone to complete their studies at university, and if they'd like to access any of the data that they used with Notable after they've graduated, that should give them an ample length of time. But of course, if you have a look at the data retention and have anything that you'd like to discuss with us, we're of course happy to do that as well. There's one question, next guy from Fleur, about Notable being available at the University of Worcester. So I believe that there are some discussions happening there as well that we can possibly link them up to, as you pointed to earlier, Guy.
Yeah, and Flora, I'll probably message you about that, and we can talk that through.
Great. Okay, and thanks, Gizzy. Now I'm nervous because I see Anna and Guy typing. I don't know what you're gonna we're gonna ask me.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Anna. That's very helpful. You've shared a link to recordings of previous webinars, including demos as well. That's great. Thank you.
Fleur, yes, the per user options will definitely remain in place. So I suppose an apology if that didn't come across in my presentation. It's we will keep the per user options in place to kind of cater for those institutions who maybe just want to use Notable on a smaller basis, on a kind of course by course basis or something like that. So yeah, definitely very much kept in place. James, there's an accessibility question from Gizzy. Can students, staff modify code text formatting to personal preference?
Great question, Gizzy. So in the first instance, students and staff will have access that is determined by their account. So people will have privacy of access to their user. So you wouldn't, in the first place, be able to go and modify the formatting of another user's code environment. However, with this in mind, we do keep an accessibility statement up to date of the service, and we work both from our involvement in developing the Notable service and the technologies involved, such as Jupyter Notebooks and other interfaces like RStudio. We do actively work with those communities to make Notable and the technologies it uses more accessible. So it may be possible to integrate some of the changes that you would like into some of that code that's going into the technologies, but also we'd be able to take in requests again and make the changes that we can in the first instance to make the formatting of text in this example more accessible. But also what you can do is collaborate with other users, and in that case you can make the accessibility requirements possibly on your user space, and then once you share access to your environment with others, they'd see the same formatted personal to your personal preference environment. Sorry, that might have been a bit of a roundabout way to answer the question, but hopefully that that answers some of the accessibility involved in the Notable service at the moment and some of the options as well. And I think it might be a good idea to share some links to our policies and statements on the chat. So we'll make sure to do that during this call as well.
And Maria, I think you asked if there were any arrangements in Nottingham Trent. I'll need to go away and check on that one because I know that I'm pretty sure we've had some contact with Nottingham Trent in the past, but I'll double check and I'll message you. I'll send you an email about it.
Yeah, Guy, I just put there's no active licenses through Chest with Nottingham Trent at the moment, but that doesn't mean you're not having conversations in the background.
Yeah, for sure. James, there's a question again, just around assistive technology users.
Thank you, Gizzy. So we have another question around accessibility. Have assistive technology users experienced any challenges accessing Notable? So Gizzy, the easy answer there for us is not that we know of. We work as much as we can with our accessibility officer here at the University of Edinburgh to make sure that we have implemented as many accessibility improvements as we can to the service. So we hope that people can reach out to us if they experience any challenges, but we haven't heard any users experiencing them at the moment.
James, is it worth saying how many users you actually have at University of Edinburgh? Because it's quite substantial, so I'd expect it to cover.
Yes, absolutely.
For them to have been flagged up if there was an issue in that area.
Thank you, Anna. So good point there. I've gone back to one of the early slides on what is Notable. You can see here that it has been used by over 12,000 users. I think it's actually over 13,000 now from looking at the recent numbers earlier today. And we haven't had any direct accessibility issues being flagged with us. But of course, we do take those on through our website. You can contact us and reach us through a form. and we look to implement any requests that we have regarding accessibility in the earliest instance. And I've just shared the link to our statement for accessibility on the chat there as well. So hopefully that's helpful to Gizzy. Okay, well, thanks, Anna. I'll just go back to that last slide here. I might have missed some other questions, but going up the chat, no, I think we've answered all of the ones asked.
Yeah, I guess if anyone's got any other questions, please do ask. I'd be very happy to answer them. Or if you'd like to have another meeting, a sort of dedicated meeting demonstration, also let us know.
Great question, Gizzy, around is there a community of users sharing ideas, practice, templates, etc.? So there is a growing community. Well, in fact, there are a number of growing communities across different user bases of Notable. So we have a few established user groups. There's one central user group that EDINA is hosting that we will communicate with to share primarily news about updates coming to the service. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have a schedule for releasing new libraries and packages into Notable that will take place in between semesters. So about a month before the end of a semester, we'll be sharing those schedules to the user group as well. And then we have user groups sprouting out from different subjects or departments that we have involvement with as well, and that's where they're primarily sharing ideas, practice templates, etc. So at the moment, we have a user group across a number of different institutions where we are primarily sharing news and upcoming updates, and then we have more dedicated user groups sharing things such as ideas and best practice, etc. And we definitely be looking to make you a part of a community if you come into Notable that would be best suited for you and your area of teaching and practice. Great, thank you, Gizzy, and thank you, Fleur. So as Guy pointed to, we'd be more than happy to arrange a more tailored demonstration of the service to you and any colleagues that might be interested in attending that future conversation. And we're happy to send any more information you might like about the service as well.
James, is it also just worth mentioning, so on the webinar recordings that we've got on the CHESS website, some of them were hosted by EDINA, but also one of them was actually done by one of the lecturers in your departments, wasn't it? So he kind of did it from a teaching perspective, which I think is quite useful to listen to.
I suppose it's worth mentioning that we have and maybe we can probably put that in the chat now. We have a YouTube channel which contains many videos and just content around the service and how it's used, and some of them are done by lecturers who've used the service within their teaching. So I'll get, James might be on it already, get the link to that and put it in the chat, and then we can, there's a lot of very valuable content there.
Yes, thank you very much, Guy. I'm just going to share a link to our channel and that video that you just mentioned. That's one of our business school lecturers who focuses on data analytics, who did a great kind of user story of their experience with Notable. Yeah, and that's great, Gizzy. Academic experience can help with understanding some of the potential here. So hopefully this is a useful example. And we do have others that are either on our YouTube channel already or will be on our YouTube channel shortly. So we like to make sure that we keep a kind of a running set of user stories and testimonials that can really speak to how Notable is being used in different settings. Okay, so maybe we give it a little bit more time to see if any other questions come up, but I'll start thanking everyone for joining this afternoon, and it's been great seeing some of these questions come in and all of the interest coming through for Noteable and what it can do. So not sure, Guy, if we want to mention anything else, or Anna, anything else comes to mind at this point. But we've shared a few links and resources on the chat. And of course, we're open to any future questions, or you have our contact details here on this last slide as well through our website.
Yeah, and I guess, James, just with respect to the chest side of things, if anyone's got any questions about registering for the chest website or placing orders, or any queries about the terms and conditions of the license or the pricing, then obviously drop me an email. I'll just put my email address in the chat as well now.
Great, thank you, Anna. Yeah, we should have put it on this slide as well.
Thank you, Anna, and yeah, thanks again to everybody for coming, and please do let us know what you think of what you saw today, and anything else, any other feedback is always very much appreciated. It helps us kind of do things better and that kind of thing. So be delighted to hear any feedback. All right, Catherine, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Just a note, I've moved up to a slide which has some links, and just to mention that we'll look to share these slides with the whole group. Not sure if, Guy, you'll be sharing that through email, or maybe it's easiest to share them another way.
Yeah, I'll have a think about that. I'll either share it through email, or it's probably going to be easiest just to do it through email, but I'll do that. There's a few more, few people typing still, so we'll see what they say. Always, thanks very much. Thanks, Gizzy, and thanks, Fleur.
Great, thank you, Gizzy.
Thank you. Okay, well, unless there's anything else from anybody, we might wrap up there, and I will send out the information via email. And well, Joy's still typing, so we'll see what Joy says. But yeah. Okay, all right. I think we might call it a day there.
All right, thank you, Guy, and thank you, Anna, and thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, James. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.